Hello. Welcome to another edition of the Night Party podcast. Happy New Year. I can't. Okay, let's try this again. Ready? Welcome to another edition of the Night Party podcast, where we leave it all on the cutting room floor. I'm, of course, your illustrious host, Zach. Welcome to another edition of the show you downloaded. So there you go. Episode 308, Return of the King. It took us the whole holiday season, and now we're finally putting a cap on the end of 2024 with the end of our Lord of the Rings series. And I'm joined here, of course, with Antonious, Montana.
Oh, yep.
And
back to do it again. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and the seat has been empty. It's been sad. I've been trying to rely on the online cretins to get any feedback. But I actually did have a couple of really good podcasts without you. You missed. I had my first OnlyFans model.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Well, there's a whole episode on there. It's on our Patreon, which you can listen to for only $5. That's I Got 5 Kids to Feed. And you get not only this show, but you get 2 other shows, whether it be Night Party After Dark, Midnight Ramen, or our weekly Slime Wreck Radio. We go over all the current events on Twitter, and because there's, of course, no more political infighting, it's mainly just fun stuff and pro wrestling and upcoming movies and stuff in the news that's hilarious. So there you go.
That sounds fantastic.
It is. It's your childish escape for all things not serious. So it's supposed to be silly with a name like Slime Wreck. How can it not, right? Cool. So Return of the King, Lord of the Rings.
It's gonna be a fun episode.
I know. What's also too, because so I switched over to Zins, and they make my brain fire faster than my mouth can keep up with. I noticed myself having conversations where I start to sound like Ben Shapiro, where I'm talking really, really quickly, and I don't know why.
Oh, God.
Or who's that other guy that, yeah, man. Yeah, I forgot that dude's that actor, not like Leguizamo. You know the guy who's in, he plays Loki, or not Loki, the hairy-chested Italian guy. He's in Dogma. Hey, he always talk like this, man. You know what I mean?
Oh, Jason Lee?
Yeah. No. Well, we'll figure it out later on.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. Not that we're going to do Dogma, but that's a movie we should definitely do.
That definitely should be on the list.
Now, also for $20, you get to Stop the Bike. What does that mean? Stop the Bike. For only $20, you get sweet, sweet merchandise when available. If not, I'll send you personalized gifts, because if we don't have enough Stop the Bike members, I can't place an order, right? We at least need like a half a dozen.
Yeah.
And right now we don't. So,
and that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah. We'll be back, as they say, The show ebbs and flows. We've been on a downturn financially, but our uptick in normal ratings has been good. So
that's definitely what we want.
And you know what? I'd rather someone download every episode and listen to them all than just join up and never listen to it. To be honest with you. But anyway, so we actually have a Stop the Bike coming up.
Ooh.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yes, love it.
I
love it.
Somehow this movie flew under my radar.
Really?
I do not know how. It's always been there. It's always been an option, and I heard it's really good.
Yes.
And so Miss Nikki Neo, our Matreon, has actually requested that so we're going to do that next week. I know you're not going to be available. However, if you're on X and you want to join in, you can always do that. And then also, too, coming up, we have Enemy Mine.
Yeah, okay.
Have you ever seen that?
Not in a long time.
Dude, it holds up.
Yeah, okay.
It holds up. It is beautiful. And for a PG-13 a PG-13 movie, or sorry, not even 13.
It's a PG
It's
movie.
just PG, straight.
Yeah.
One of the goriest.
It's dark, but
dark.
Yeah.
You got slavery. You got child abduction. There's
aliens.
It's a couple of murders. Someone gets defenestrated and then thrown into a meat grinder, and it's PG.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, the 80s.
God bless them. But anyway, today we're focusing on the last of the series, and that would be Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Let me throw on some tunes here.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So I was going to say, out of all of them, probably my favorite of all the soundtracks.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. There's just more opera and chorus. And in the first one, they play the Shire theme like so many goddamn times.
Yeah.
In this one, they only do it like a couple of times, and you get really sick of the Shire theme just because you hear it. Like, if you've watched all 3 movies at this point, you're invested into, 9 hours and 16 minutes? No. Yeah, it's like 9 hours and 15 minutes or something.
Okay.
Because the
That's a lot.
first movie is like 2 hours 45.
Mm-hmm.
Second movie is 2 hours and 59 minutes.
Okay.
And the third one is 3 hours.
9 hours.
3 hours and 20 minutes with 4 endings.
Yeah.
Got my little notepad here. I just watched this today, moments before you arrived. So when's the last time you watched this?
I actually watched it today too before I headed out. Yeah.
Cool. So let's go over the stats, shall we? So, basically what I was saying earlier with my advertisement is you should go to Knife Party Pod. Well, first you got to go to Patreon, type in Knife Party Pod, and then you'll see all of our delicious shows there. And did you know we also have a free trial?
We do.
We do.
I'm so happy we're doing that.
The first month is free, so you could just binge listen all 308 episodes commercial free, plus all the Midnight Ramen, plus all the Slime Wreck Radios, plus all the After Darks. However, Face the Mirror is now its own show.
Yeah.
So shout out to Jeff whenever he gets that. But he's going to be putting those up all online, and I'm kind of glad to see like my little sister show sail away on its own boat and do its own thing. It's awesome.
Jeff's finally becoming a lady.
Look, all right. I have so many jokes I can make right now. All right, so check it out. This one got 94 with the critics and only 86 with the
audience.
The audience, and I think I know why. I think by this time, people were kind of like, there was a movie coming out every year, and they were just like, okay, finish the story.
Right.
And a lot of people, too, because this book is so old, and yeah, even though it's a classic, not a lot of people either have read the book or haven't read it in a long, long, long time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not a lot of people just, like, I know probably 2 people in my whole lifetime that are, like, Lord of the Rings, like, fanatics, where they know.
Right. They know everything about the lore. And
Silmarillion, Hobbit, right, everything. Like, even there's a book afterward, because Silmarillion is basically, like, Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit and a little bit after and a little bit before. And I know those are like the real nerdy kids when like they go, yeah, it's, in Silmarillion, actually, it's like this. It's like, okay, dude.
Okay.
All right. It's, yeah.
I like the dwarf guy.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
Yeah, he's cool. 84, probably because a lot of people got sick of it. But I remember when I saw this in theater, there was audible groans because of the ending.
Oh, which one?
No, exactly. Like, they're just like, you saw people get up and then sit back down. Like,
yeah.
And I think that
because they do like the like fade away each time, and you're like, oh, that was a cool way to wrap it up, and blah blah blah, and then like, surprise.
Yeah. So let's cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's go for some fun facts here. So obviously this was Peter Jackson.
Yep.
Got, of course, Elijah Wood, Ian McKellen, Liv Tyler, Viggo Mortensen, Sheen Austen, who does not look good. He has not aged well. Look, this guy grew at least 100 pounds just in the chin itself.
Oh, like, he's brutal.
Dude, I'm saying, man, this guy looks like diabetic or something. I'm not making fun. I'm just saying the guy he is, out of everyone, is probably aged the shittiest. And then we have some new characters they introduce here, like, well, not new, but more of a focus on, like, we get a lot more of Miranda Otto, who is Éowyn, who is probably one of the most compelling characters in this movie. And then who am I looking for? I'm looking for the Faramore and Eomor. Faramore's brother.
Yeah.
Aramor, rather, not Eomor. Aramor is probably
he was kind of Eeyore-ish.
Because we only see him for a second in Two Towers.
Yeah.
And we're not sure if he's going to, like, bring the ring and turn in Frodo, and then he turns out probably to be the most Jesus-esque character out of everybody. Like self-sacrificing and awesome.
Yeah.
I remember watching this and just like having been like, dude, they did him wrong. Like that whole bloodline's fucked. Like everyone in that bloodline is just kind of, he's the best out of all of them. But
he's breaking the cycle.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Or he's trying to, at least.
He's trying to. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, also we get to see Andy Serkis, Serkis, Serkis. Anyway, he's we finally get to see Gollum in the very beginning of this movie when he's not Gollum, and I forgot about this scene.
Oh, really?
The boat scene?
Yeah,
where
the
they're
very
fishing.
beginning, where they find it, yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow. So little things like this in this movie, rewatching it, and out of all of them, I've seen this one the least. How about you? I think we said Two Towers is probably the one we both saw the most.
Yeah, Two Towers definitely the most. This one would be second. The Fellowship is the one I've seen the least.
Really?
Yeah.
So I used to watch The Fellowship all the time because I got these movies when they came out on DVD. I used to work at The Warehouse. For those who don't remember, The Warehouse was kind of like a Virgin Records. Started out as a rental video game and movie rental spot. But The Warehouse was actually unique in the fact that you could rent CDs back in the day. And they were super overpriced. But I remember I used to always get movies there when I worked there because people would trade in DVDs. And sometimes I'd just be like, hey, we'll give you $3 for it. Or I could buy all these from you for $20 in the parking lot. And we could just and that would happen a lot. A lot. So sadly, and then when I got my first apartment, I had to get rid of like a lot of DVDs, which I really wish I didn't do. And also one of my old drummer's girlfriends stayed like the weekend with us and stole a lot of movies.
Oh, wow.
A lot.
That's weird.
Yeah. Her name was Tannis. Never trust a Tannis. So, anyway, what would you give it?
I mean, I'm pretty on par with the critics there. Yeah, probably like a 93 or a 94.
Okay. Remember we said if Two Towers was take out all the Frodo stuff and just make it the battle, how epic a movie that would be?
Right.
I'm kind of the same way with this, and I don't mean take out the Frodo stuff because it's actually more important in this movie than it is in any of the other ones. However, they should have chose one fucking ending and then did the ending. There's 4 endings. They could have picked one, and then they could have done an after credits secret scene.
Yeah,
for those who
at like the very end, and that could be like 15 minutes if they want.
Yeah,
whatever.
I think they should have done where when he gets the crown. When
and it plays a song and they like bow to the hobbits.
Yeah, they bow and he goes, "You bow for no one," and then they bow, and then that should have went.
That
the
would
end.
have been the perfect ending for the movie,
and then have an after credits of all the other ones.
Credits, or you just have to read the books to like get the rest of it.
So when I did watch this, I watched all the way up to there, and then I watched the rest in 1.5 because PlayStation will allow sound to do it. Because I'm like, I remember just groaning at all these because they really don't add much to the story. It's kind of just like tying up loose ends, but there is no loose ends to tie up. We kind of know what's going to happen when they go back to the Shire because half the time when they're talking like, oh, as soon as we go back to the Shire, Mr. Frodo, like, I can't wait to get like some fish and some berries. Do you remember berries? All that good shit. Yeah. And I can't wait to talk to this girl I never had the balls to talk to. But now that I'm fighting the forces of evil, I think I have courage. All right.
It was always there, Sam.
I'm going to say that I'm changing my view on my favorites. So I used to think Two Towers, Fellowship, and then this. Now I'm going to say probably, even though I think the first one is shot the best, the second one is the most dramatic action epic adventure. By the time you see this third one, it's hard to top the Battle of Two Towers. Right. The Helm's Deep battle is just way too hard. However, I like what they did with the night and day changes. So they filmed it differently. But by the time we got to it, and also too with the undead army coming in and everything else, conveniently, it's just very convenient. And I know it's in the books and everything else, but just the way it's like, why didn't you just do that in the there's a lot of why didn't you do that in the first place kind of things in this. But no, I'm probably going to say this is actually my number 2, and another reason why is the budget. So check it out. What do you think the budget difference between this and Fellowship are? Let's say it's in the $1 million, like multiple millions of dollars, obviously. Yeah. What do you think the difference is?
I feel like this one definitely had more. It had like a bigger budget.
But by how much do you think? Double, 25% more, 10% more? What do you think?
I'm gonna go with like a high guess on my side and say like 50 million more.
No. 1 million more.
1 million more.
$1 million difference.
Okay.
So the first one was 93 mil.
Yeah.
Two Towers was 94, and this one was 94.
Okay.
Now, I think I have an explanation of how they were able to stretch the money out so further. It's probably because they had all the costumes already done.
Right.
For the most part. We don't get to see like the white city guards yet. The paladins with those like cool helmets. Not as cool as the Riders of Rohan, but they're still pretty cool. I just think Rohan has the cool. I like the leather red armor with all that. They look so cool. But you already had all the costumes done, and you didn't have anyone doing any hamstringing them. Like sometimes people go, "Oh, if we're going to do a sequel, blah blah blah, then I'm going to want more on the second one." Well, all the contracts were already worked out.
Right.
Filming. It was all filmed at the same time. So I think they probably just were like, well, if you're able to do this, make it happen with that. And they're like, all right, I guess we can.
And a lot of like the sets too were already made and things like that. They don't have to go back and build something new.
Obviously,
yeah, there is some, but like there was a decent amount already done.
And they also did a lot of smart filmmaking, like for instance, and there was a lot of just overhead shot scenes.
Yeah.
Which they probably had those all banked. Meaning, they probably only had a helicopter for so many weeks, and they probably filmed everything they could, and just had that in the can, and then busted out when they needed it.
Right.
I think I can't be for certain. So normally I usually start us off with a clip, and I actually saved this clip because it's actually not in the movie. Okay. It's in the extendo version, which I think is 4.5 hours long.
That's just too much. It's at least 4 hours long.
I think it's 4.5, dude. I think it's like at least another hour. I think it's at least another hour. So anyway, and this is
just too much movie. I'm sorry.
It is. I mean, break it up in episodes at that point. So here's the scene though that they cut out that I was going to open with, but I knew it might have confused you because we just watched the theatrical version recently. Now I've seen the full-on perversion before, but I haven't seen it in a while. I only seen it once. But anyway, here's the scene that I'm pissed off they actually cut out because this is 2 minutes and 30-something seconds, and it explains so much. So here we go. Now, tell me if this is familiar to you. Do you remember this scene?
Yeah.
My master, Sauron the Great, bids thee welcome.
Probably the coolest fucking character in the movie, and they cut this out, and it's only 2 minutes and 30 seconds long.
Is there any in this route with authority to treat with me?
We do not come to treat with Sauron, faithless and accursed.
Tell your masters this. The armies of Mordor must disband. He is to depart these lands, never to return.
Oh, old Greybeard. I have a token I was bidden to show thee.
So for those listening, he's holding up the Mithril armor.
Frodo!
Silence.
No!
Silence!
The halfling was dear to thee, I see. Know that he suffered greatly at the hands of his host. Who would have thought one so small would endure so much pain? And he did, Gandalf. He did. Oh. And who is this? Isildur's heir. It takes more to make a king than a broken elvish blade.
So,
Guess that concludes negotiations.
even though he's beheaded, right? So there is a continuity error in this movie when you watch the regular version, because he then goes up to all of the soldiers and he goes, "There will be a time where men will betray their vows, but not this day. There'll be a time where, friends won't answer the call, but it will not be this day."
Yeah.
And his sword's got black blood on it, and you're like, "Wash your sword, dude. What? Like you haven't pulled it out yet? Like, is that from the last battle?" No, it's from the mouth.
Ah.
So that bugged me, and then I forgot totally about the scene.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh yeah, this is the scene with the mouth. So I had to actually Google it and look it up. But
yeah, because I just figured it was from the last scene.
yeah, but
I mean, that's probably what they were trying to get away with, instead of like, oh wait, we got to go back and refilm and clean that because it doesn't make sense without the scene.
But really bad editing, though.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you cut out that 2 minutes? The mouth of Sauron is so cool. And another thing, too, one of my favorite movies, V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
They actually borrowed something from this, right? So, you know how in V for Vendetta, where the council is all looking at the mouth, right?
Right.
The Chancellor, the High Chancellor.
Yeah.
Well, the detective's called the nose. The agents are called the fingermen.
Oh, okay.
And then the main guy of that is Mr. McCready is called the hand.
yeah.
So they kind of borrowed that from this. So there's the Eye of Sauron.
Right.
There's the Mouth of Sauron.
Yeah.
And then I guess in the book there's probably more
Right.
that they go into where there's like, the how Sauron is able to exist without being a body on this planet, but he's like a god, like, like ever ominous
Super
and
weird.
yeah.
Like, what's his face from Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Zool.
Zool. There
Zool,
we go.
motherfucker.
I was going to say Zoltan, but that would definitely be wrong. Zoltan.
So this part comes up, and this reminds me, this is the gluttony scene. So
Yeah.
this song, Mist and Shadow, is actually in the book where you can read all the lyrics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so I call it the gluttony scene because you see
see the steward.
and
Yeah.
he's like eating sloppily, and it's a really cool scene. I like the scene a lot because you have this beautiful young fragile voice mixed with this glutton eating, mixed with all this war and bloodshed about to
Yeah.
happen, right? And it's really unnerving.
It is, and it looks like the food he's eating
Looks like
it's-
gore.
It looks like gore, and it's got this red juice running down, like it's blood dripping out of his mouth.
Yeah, and he bites into the cherry tomato and it goes, and it makes like
Yeah.
the sound, and then he's like breaking apart chicken bones or
Just
whatever,
ripping them. Yeah.
or quail or whatever the fuck it is.
yeah.
But it really does add kind of something to it. Really like
It definitely made me feel a little like unnerved. But it was just like, ugh.
Yeah, seeing people eat is kind of weird alone, but seeing people eat like with their hands just breaking shit apart. Like there's a really powerful scene in Hostel where the guy's explaining like why he eats with his hands.
Yeah.
And that's a really creepy scene.
Super creepy.
To the point where like the kids on the train are like, don't sit with us anymore, you fucking weirdo.
Yeah, you can go over there now.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, you're good. You're good. Our American hospitality has run out.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. We talked about the opening scene a little bit. Ooh, I have a good one. So I said Eowyn is one of the most compelling characters in this, right? Because not only does she kill the Lich King, which is a fucking great scene,
Yes.
but let's talk about Eowyn and Arwen. I think that Arwen was the bad choice.
What do you mean?
Okay,
I mean, she's an elf.
no, but think about this. Eowyn, I think, would have been a better queen because, okay, think about it like this. Most marriages back then, or not back then because this didn't exist, but you know what I mean. Most of those marriages were of politics, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You have the main daughter of Rohan marrying the Isildur's heir, bringing together two
The humans,
bloodlines.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be the age of man.
Right.
Now, all Arwen's going to do is give him one child and then die of sadness.
That's weird.
When she,
But I get it. Yeah.
when she could have went off with Frodo and everybody else. So I just think that I think she's selfish and a bad woman, actually. No, think about it. Like, if she would have just been like, hey, I'm getting on the boat.
Yeah.
Like, do your mortal thing.
I mean, but the love story between them the whole time, and the fact that she gives up like eternal life to be with him and everything, like that's still not for nothing.
No,
you
it's
know?
not for nothing, but that's why I wanted to bring it up, because this time watching it, I was approaching it like you would a therapist. Like, okay, so what does she bring to the table to you? Well, she's going to bring you an heir. She's going to bring you a child, right? Half elf, half man. Okay, maybe that's cool. She uses the sword as a tactic to steal your love.
Yeah.
The shards of Narcel? Shards of Narcel.
Narcissus?
No, Shards of Narcel, which, by the way, would be a great fucking name for a metal band. The Shards of Narcel. What's your band's name? Shards of Narcel. What's your band's name? Excalibur. Yeah, we're cooler. Yeah, we're named after a broken sword. That's even cooler. You know. So she kind of like, I'm not gonna say bribes him, but she kind of uses that sword as not like a peace offering or like a farewell gift. It's like, no, if you use this, you're gonna want this pussy. You want to command that army of the dead? You're gonna want this pussy.
Yep, you gotta do it.
You gotta do it. Gotta do it. Plus, also too, I don't know. I don't find Liv Tyler that attractive.
Oh, I do.
That's okay. You know, she was raised by Todd Rundgren, right?
By who?
Todd Rundgren.
Todd Rundgren?
Yeah. I don't want to get up. I just want to play on my drums all day. That guy. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know who he is.
Yeah. He's kind of a hack. My dad loves him, though. So their relationship, I just don't think, I think it's doomed. I think he should have went with Eowyn. He could have united the two kingdoms, right? Brought the Age of Man back together.
Right.
You know, and you know, she should have gave him the sword as a farewell gift, and because she's gonna live in sadness forever anyway.
Right.
You know, even because like they even predicted that after, you know, he's going to die and she's going to die of sadness right after, even though they have a child, which also makes her a bad mother. She's a bad mother. She's a bad wife.
It's true love. It's what the gods wanted.
Did they though?
I don't know.
Did they?
I don't know. Maybe.
So
It's
anyway,
a great story.
So oh yeah, I didn't give my score. I'm going to give this a 92.
92. Okay.
Yeah. Now, how'd we edit it? Like we talked with the two endings on the back, or three endings in the back, with the "You Bow to No One" as the real ending. Had the mouth stay in,
that would have been cool.
Then I would have made this even higher.
Yeah.
And also, I wanted to see some skeleton battle, man. Instead, we just see them kind of like a green mist killing shit.
Yeah, that was super cheesy.
And that's the only effects in this movie that are super dated.
Yeah.
Because those ones, now when the undead are kind of talking to them and they're having the conversation back and forth, the effects look great.
Yeah.
They actually remind me of, do you remember these toys back in the day in the 80s called Supernaturals? And they were like hologram toys?
Nope.
Oh, man.
Yeah, don't remember that at all.
I'm going to pull up an ad and you'll probably, I'm going to trigger a memory, I guarantee it. But anyway, they remind me of the Supernatural toys. I remember Jonathan and I used to have this. Let's see, Supernaturals.
You're just gonna pull up a bunch of stuff with like Sam and Dean and
80s,
the Winchester brothers.
80s toy commercials. There we go. Yeah, here they are, Supernaturals. Remember these?
No, not at all.
You don't? Okay, well
No.
here goes the. They're made by Tonka. So let me get past this advertisement real quick. They're made by Tonka apparently, but yeah, these toys were pretty cool.
Or should I say, was a toy line released in 1987 by Tonka, most famous for their Tonka trucks. Its main selling feature was that 80s fad of holograms.
It's a hologram.
They were everywhere, from toys to cereal boxes.
Yeah, you remember those now?
No, I don't remember these at all.
But whereas that line was supported by a cartoon, the Supernaturals weren't. The figures did come with mini comics though. Unfortunately, that wasn't enough to boost sales, and the toy line died after one wave of figures.
They were still cool though.
I mean, it seems like a neat idea, but definitely super cheesy.
Yeah. But I mean, the cool thing about them is remember these practical effects and these toys, they didn't require any batteries or whatever. So they never ran out. So they're always fun.
Yeah.
You know, whereas like glow in the dark or whatever, all those 80s fads, they kind of wore out, or they took batteries, or the chemicals would be toxic as shit, and then they'd have to pull them from the market. You know how many 80s toys we had there? It's like, there's no way you can give a kid a metal Tonka truck. He'd get tetanus and die.
I mean, that's why we had our shots, you know.
True. Because, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'd play with my Tonka in the pool. I didn't give a shit.
Yeah. Play with a bathtub or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't care.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Dump truck can move water.
Exactly.
And there you go. Oh, man, we were so blessed. We had the coolest toys. I mean, between, like, just He-Man, Turtles, and Transformers, just to name a few.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, yeah, I feel
What
bad.
I didn't have was Lord of the Rings toys.
They existed though, in their time.
I know they existed. I didn't know about them.
The Lord of the Rings toys made for these movies, though, not so cool.
No.
Like, you would think they would take what, like, Todd McFarlane did and make, like, a really cool, like, 9-inch Balrog toy, you know?
I mean, yeah, stuff like that. They definitely went the way of, like, Batman toys or whatever, like wrestling toys.
Yeah.
Like, just
wrestling
very
toys were
cheesy.
dope. No, wrestling toys were dope.
Not in, like, the early 2000s. They were, like, the super basic...
The Kenner ones, I don't know. This is a conversation to have with Jonathan Fallon. He's the toy guy.
Yeah.
But I will say, though, that's what got, I know, him to start doing his podcast was actually collecting special edition wrestling toys.
Oh, really? Okay.
So maybe it wasn't the maybe it was more like the 20 teens is when they got really good.
Yeah.
Because that's when they were like, they came with tons of accessories and posable and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway. So back to this merchandising wise, though, this did have its own role playing game.
Yes.
Which was weird because you would think that the role playing game would come out before the movie craze because Star Wars had a fucking role playing game that came out in the 80s. I don't know if you knew that.
No,
I have a copy of it somewhere.
What?
Yes, I do. I gave one to because you know my old guitar player. He loves Star Wars. Everything.
Okay.
Borby.
Yeah.
I gave him like a copy of one because it was in like pristine condition and it had Darth Vader on the cover. And I'm like, hey man, this might be worth money.
Mm-hmm.
But I know you like Star Wars, so there you go.
Yeah,
so I gave it to him as a gift. And it was like so, you know, pristine when you open it up, it makes the crack sound. But I actually read that book, and Lord of the Rings. I read the Lord of the Rings Player's Handbook too. Never played the game, but my neighbor who no longer lives here, his name is Larry. Actually, you played with him on PlayStation Network with me before.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, he was so obsessed with the role playing game that he actually bought a bunch of foam and he bought like hot knives and he would carve the foam into like castles and shit. And he made like a couple of like boards to play on. And he hand painted all the figures, and he had all the books.
Wow!
And we were always gonna play. And he worked on this game. I shit you not, man, for like 2.5 years, and we never fucking played. He's like, I'm not ready yet. Because he had these like giant battles planned out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, when are we getting? He's like, well, it's not ready. I'm like, let's just fucking play. Let's just see if it's fun.
See what happens.
Yeah, let's just see what's fun. Let's have like a mini battle.
Right.
But the Lord of the Rings role playing game, it wasn't really like where you just play one character. You play more like an army of 3 to 6 to 9 to 12. So it's more like a battle game.
Like Warhammer.
Like Warhammer.
Okay.
Like, you would play the orcs and I'd play Rohan, or you'd play Rohan and I'd play the Citadel, you know.
Yeah.
Or you could play like the Fellowship, you know, they had all those characters.
Right.
And all their stats were kind of pre-done, but you could level them up, etc. So it looked like a lot of fun, and the props of it looked great. I never got to fucking play it, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that would have been cool, though. Most definitely. Yeah, kind of create your own epic battles and everything.
Yeah, or like recreate, like, what if, you know?
Yeah.
You know, okay, let's recreate this battle, however, you know, instead of playing Gimli and da-da-da, they're not there. They're over here doing something else. So let's see how the battle would go without them, you know, kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, like what if Gimli went with Frodo instead of Sam? Sort of thing, yeah.
And there was also in the book, it was kind of cool. So in the book, the role playing book, because I did read a lot of it. They explain a lot of shit, like why the orcs are so fucked up looking, and why they're so tough is because when they get injured, they actually, it's kind of like the movie Predator too, where their healing compound, it scars them. And darkens their skin.
Okay.
So, like, the more fucked up they are, the darker their skin, that means they've been in more battles.
Oh, that's crazy.
So it's not just the scar. It's not just, like, their skin pigmentation. It's like, whenever you see, like, orcs and they're all, like light skin, that means they're fresh. They haven't been in battles yet, you know, because the healing compound darkens you.
Interesting. Okay.
And apparently that's canon to lore. I don't know. And they also talk...
I mean, I don't remember that in the book, but okay.
Maybe it's in Silmarillion or something.
Right.
And then they talk about like the orc ale and what it does to you and stuff. And so it was kind of cool because if you really wanted like a backstage pass on some really nerdy shit about the movie, I mean, like I said, I never even played the game, but I'm familiar with role-playing games. But it was kind of cool just seeing like, oh, here's the rules in which this movie lives.
Yeah.
But also this. And it was pretty neat. The Spawn, of course, the whole series, obviously. But, you know, we're talking about the series as a whole. We're wrapping it up.
Yeah.
So, like, we might as well go into everything. Now, a lot of movies get shit, and I mean shit, video games.
Yes.
I can't name...
Absolutely. I mean, there's too many to name.
Yeah.
That are terrible.
There's only a few to name that are good.
Right.
Like, what comes to mind is X-Men Wolverine Oranges. Bad movie, great game. Did you ever play the game?
No, never played
it was on Xbox. It was an exclusive. It was amazing. Okay. It was God of War, but you're Wolverine.
Okay, that would be fun.
And the cool thing is your healing power. So if you got shot in the face, you would actually see his eyeball reconstitute and stuff.
That's dope.
And it was super gory. Anyway, but there is the 3 original Lord of the Rings games that were made, and they were okay.
Right.
They're okay. They're on PlayStation 2. And then for GameCube, they had a Lord of the Rings game that came out where you're actually one step behind the main party, the Fellowship.
Yeah.
But it goes throughout all the movies, right?
Oh, okay.
So you're one step behind them.
Yeah.
So there's like one guy from Rohan, there's an elf. It's, basically, there's one human, one elf, one sorceress, and then one dwarf.
Right.
But it had the exact same play style as Final Fantasy X, where you could switch out your party members.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And it was the same engine, and it was one of the fucking coolest games on GameCube.
Okay, never played that one.
No, a lot of people haven't, and I forgot what it's called, but if you ever see it, it's got Balrog on the cover. They did make a PlayStation port for it, PlayStation 2 port.
Yeah.
I played the shit out of that game, and the coolest thing about it is when you beat the game, then you got to play the Forces of Darkness. So you got to play as the Balrog.
Oh, sick!
And you got to play as the orc general dude.
Right.
And the battles were really fun.
I figured like once you beat it, you just got to watch all 19 endings of the movie.
No, in fact, even though, I think the ending of the game was when you just see the eye go and explode in that nova. That was like the ending of the game, as it probably should have been in this movie. And then, of course...
hit the button.
And then, of course, we go to Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. Have you ever played those games?
I think I played some of the Mordor. Shadow of Mordor?
Yeah.
It's hard to tell because they're both like very similar.
Shadow War is way different. Shadow War, you actually build an army. Mordor is...
then it was Mordor, yeah.
Shadow Mordor is more like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
And they're both good.
Right. No, I definitely played a little bit of the Mordor for sure.
Well, you know what? Yeah, they're both good. I own them both.
Look at me. I have all the games.
No, I own them both because... Okay, this is weird. I actually got it on PlayStation Plus, when you...
Yeah,
it was like a free game,
okay.
And I downloaded it. And then when my brother moved out, he, left a bunch of shit, when he moved to Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's listening to this, I'll get back to you, but you have to tell me what episode you heard this in. Anyway, but he left both games, and one of them is fucking sealed.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, it's the Shadow of War, so I'm keeping that.
Yeah.
Because it's sealed and I already own it. It's like, but, anyway, if you have PlayStation Plus, you probably still have it. You just probably have to re-download it. Because it was a monthly game.
Yeah, but once that's done, if you don't, add it to your library, it's just done.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, because it is kind of really too old for them to, re-resurrect it.
Right.
But... do definitely recommend playing those games, and they are fun because you actually start taking over an army, and they actually fight for you.
That's cool.
And it's you have these big epic wars where you have all your orcs and your trolls and stuff that you've taken, and now you're making them fight the other while you're Assassin's Creeding and jumping jumping from this ledge to that ledge, and I don't know, it's a lot of fun. It's like anyway, long story short, all the video games made off of this franchise are phenomenal.
Yeah.
If it's got Lord of the Rings on it and you own the system and you see it at a garage sale, buy it.
Buy it. You'll enjoy it. It's worth it.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. What else do I got? And then we'll just let's see. Oh, you know, one of my favorite parts is, okay, you know when they go to the city, first off, I love the idea that the city is shaped like a conch shell, like a nautilus.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was really interesting, but I felt really bad for all the horses when they're filming this because you could tell they were, like, exhausted.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, because those guys are wearing armor, plus they're going up and downhill. Because you know when they go, cut, go back, and the poor horses have to go, and I just, like, and just hearing, like, the ground, I know that's probably added Foley, but those are all stone paved roads,
right?
And like I just felt bad for all the horses with their horseshoes and stuff. Now, I mean, probably obviously, you know, no animals were harmed or whatever,
right,
but
exactly.
Still, at the same time, I'm like, man, that must suck to be like
that had to be a lot,
yeah. And, or you know, if you put yourself in the fantasy world of this movie, it's still like, ugh, that's a lot of work on a horse, you know.
That is a lot of work on a horse, yeah.
In fact, there's a lot of good stunt work with the horses, too, like when they go to the cave, you know, and all the horses are freaking out and shit.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, I think it's always dope the way they film the scenes where, like, the horse, Rohan smashes into the orc army and everything.
Yeah. You know? The CGI in this holds up.
I mean... Most of it holds up.
Okay.
Most of it holds up pretty well.
The green gooey army sucks.
that was garbage. There was some things here and there, but like for the most part, yeah, the CGI is on point.
The ring wraiths wyverns looked good.
They were still all right. Yeah.
Hold on. When the Lich King and he goes, feast upon his flesh, and you see like its mouth and head movement.
Yeah.
It looked really good.
It did look really good. Yeah, the movement wise and everything, it looked very realistic. The Ent in the beginning did not look good.
Well, we talked about the Ents in the last one.
Yeah.
Is it bumped
I mean, I
us.
feel like the Ents looked better in the last one than the beginning of this one.
Well, there is only, I think, one Ent in this movie, and only it's only Treebeard in the beginning when they find the Seeing
and
Stone.
it's like a minute or whatever. But he looks like basically just like a green like rectangle with a face on it. It's like, oh. That was terrible.
No, it really looked like you know what they reminded me of? I've never played the game, but back to games. Minecraft, you know the creeper things?
No, I don't play Minecraft.
Okay, no, neither do I, but you know of Minecraft, right? It is a thing.
Yeah, the rocks or whatever.
And you know those green like sad face guys? They're called creepers, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And they just remind me of Ents. It's just like it looks like it looks like a creeper. It wasn't real. They just, I don't know.
Yeah, that kind of was like, oh,
how do you fix the Ents? I think just practical effects would have been great.
I mean, they did some, but yeah, they needed to do way more practical effects with that. Because like having this animatronic thing moving versus CGI would have actually seemed more realistic.
Yeah.
Just because it's a tree. It's not going to be all fluid moving,
trees,
you know?
Trees are hard to... okay, so the hardest thing to capture in CGI is fur.
Yeah.
And hair. It's the hardest.
Because there's so much definition you need.
Yeah. However, the weird thing, the easiest thing to do is fire and water. Because it's so dense.
Yeah.
Right? Like, remember, there's a reason why... in the early 2000s, there was a lot of like CGI water movies and CGI water games. There'd be water levels, and there was a lot of like water technology and CGI. Like what comes to mind is like say the Sphere or the Abyss,
right? Yeah,
or even Terminator 2, right?
Yeah,
the T-1000, liquid metal. It is the easiest thing for a computer to recognize water because it's just molecules and weight. Something like fur that kind of defies gravity because fur grows out, right? It's really hard to do. So when you see a tiger in like a movie and you know the tiger's CGI, you could tell that fucking tiger is CGI. There's no tiger there. That's just a giant green blob they're reacting to. The trolls kind of didn't hold up in this one, I think, because the lighting was so bright.
Right.
The elephants did look good, though.
They look good, yeah.
Not great, but good.
Not great, but that one I was kind of worried about rewatching it.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like those were pretty bad last time. But no, it was better than I remember.
The giant fire dragon battering ram thing was fucking awesome.
That was cool.
That was cool.
Very cool, yeah.
I totally forgot about that part, and I totally popped when it came out. I was like, whoa, I remember this part. This part was awesome. Because it's like, it's menacing and scary, and it's a giant flaming fucking like battering ram, and you're like, oh shit, you know. And then there's a great scene too where Gandalf goes, no matter what comes through there, like you will stand your ground. And then it's all cave trolls, and he goes, oh shit, and he's got a look on his face. I don't know if you caught that, but that's kind of funny.
No, he does a lot of those throughout the movie where it'll just kind of pan to him for a second, and then it's like
facial expression. Yeah. There's also another thing too that like there's a couple, I'm not going to say continuity error, but like character errors with Gandalf, because at one moment he's like, oh yeah, we're all going to die, we're fucked.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, they already got Frodo, it's just a matter of time. Like, why are we even trying? And it's like, yo, you're the guy that's supposed to be the Mr. Optimistic guy. Like, what happened? Now is this to make Aragorn become king and be like, no, we will march to the Black Gate?
Right.
Or is it a test? Like, what is that?
It's hard to tell with him. Yeah, it could just 100% just be a test.
Beer?
Not yet.
Okay. Yeah, it could be. But either way, it threw me. Because it's like, why are you telling Merry and Pippin... Or sorry,
yeah, Merry and Pippin.
Okay, why are you telling them that it's like the hour is 9 and like we're fucked? And then you're telling Aragorn, you know, hey, we're fucked. But, and then, I don't know. It's very discouraging. It's the word I guess I'd use.
I mean, it's definitely always not awkward. It's like a, you just don't see it, especially when the character's been built up as much as this one has.
Yeah.
To be like this forward thinking, positive, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, in a way, Gandalf the Grey has got more balls than Gandalf the White. At first, at least, you know. Oh, okay. How did you feel about when we see Saruman's tower and it's all destroyed and they're sitting there and they're eating the salted pork is especially good, you know, that scene?
Right.
Don't you kind of wish we would have saw his comeuppance? I know it's not in the book, but dude, it's a movie. Like, we never see what happens to Saruman at all.
No, like
he's not even in the movie.
Extended. I think it shows him for a minute, and he's just like a crazy person, like just actually like out of his mind, like sitting on his throne. You know, like I'm a special boy.
Yeah, you might be right. I think I remember something like that.
It's still not like he got his.
In the book,
thing,
what happens? Do you remember? I know it's been a long time since you read it.
Yeah, I don't remember. No.
You don't remember? Because one would think, because they say Treebeard is now the custodian of this tower, and he's going to basically Elizabeth Bathory watch him until he dies in this tower alone, and it's okay. Or you could just kill him. He's kind of the reason why a lot of shit happened. You know? Kind of should maybe put him to death, or I don't know. See what he knows, interrogate him, something.
I mean, maybe there's like a weird magic balance thing where, you know, if he goes, then somebody else has to take his place or something.
Or maybe because they got the Seeing Stone, they're like, oh, he's no threat now because that's his only that's his cell phone to, you know, Sauron, yeah. Because they find that, and then they're like, oh, cool, we got the Seeing Stone, all good, all gravy. By the way, how creepy is it when Gandalf is sleeping with the Seeing Stone with his eyes open? Didn't that freak you out a little bit?
Yeah, it definitely freaked me out a little bit.
Have you ever seen people sleep with their eyes open?
Yes.
It's fucking weird,
Very
isn't it?
off-putting.
It is. Oh, speaking of which, I have a little clip to play you.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, this is not a clip show by any means, but I do have a little clip to play you.
We always play some clips.
We try to make it entertaining and bring the funny. Now, I'm not going to say that this is like, you know, if it bleeds, but this is pretty good. So I found this, the Forbidden Edition of Lord of the Rings.
Show yourself!
AI has gone too far. I'm not going to say this. Hold on, this is great.
What happened, Gandalf?
I was
must not delay. Hold out your hand, Freddo. It's quite cool.
Elves, immortal, wisest and fairest of all beings, dwarf lords, great miners and craftsmen of the mountain halls, and the race of men.
Now come the days of the king.
I don't get that at all, but okay.
I know you want it. But I would never notice. I wouldn't notice. Oh, what's happening?
Let this be the hour when we draw swords together.
I don't know why I think that's hilarious. I'm just.
How can fire undo stone? What kind of device could bring down the wall?
Oh no!
You have no power here.
I don't know why that's. It's so dumb.
Shadowfax. It was the lord of all horses. And has been my
There's something down there.
He's been following us for 3 days.
A large Americano for Mr. Perkins.
Whoa!
That bothered me so much.
Forget it, nor fail to reward that which is given.
I've thought up an ending for my book.
It's so dumb. If you want to look up what we're look up Lord of the Rings: The Forbidden Version. There's multiple episodes.
By our knowledge of the Force, but by our skills with a lightsaber.
And so I thought
Yeah, there you go. I know it had to happen.
That was awesome.
So I was thinking about this a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and we're at a weird generation, you and I, because we are too young for Star Wars, right?
What do you mean?
Like when Star Wars came out, right? Came out in the 70s. So we're too young to like have it grow up in our childhood and the movies come out as they come out, right?
Yeah, okay.
Now they were re-released when we were teenagers.
Yeah.
But
not the same thing.
Not the same thing, right?
Right.
And also, too, let's be honest, the re-release sucks. The original ones are better if you can find them.
Mm-hmm.
When they mucked it all up with CGI, they fucked it.
Yeah.
But when these movies came out, we were a little bit too old not to appreciate them, but for them to be in our like young imagination zeitgeist of say a 9, 10-year-old, 11-year-old.
Ah, yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, because these started coming out in 2001, if you were born in 1990, this had to be your Star Wars, right? One would think.
Yeah, that'd be 11, 12, 13.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were more, because I think I was like 21, 22, and 23 when these came out.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I was still in high school when these came out.
Oh, no, wait. No, sorry. I'm wrong. No, I was 18, 19, and 20 when these came out.
Okay.
So, but still, a little too old to be like, oh my God, Lord of the Rings! Let's get swords and play Lord of the Rings in the backyard. You know?
No, definitely wasn't doing that.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't doing that. But I kind of like envy kids that this was their Star Wars. Is what I was kind of getting at.
Right.
Because this was this movie series out of every trilogy out there. I mean, like if we're gonna say like Lord of the Rings versus Star Wars, because a lot of people compare them. There's even a whole thing
right.
I definitely think this is the better of the two. And and it doesn't treat you like an idiot, where like Star Wars kind of treats you like an idiot at times. Or it treats the viewer like a child.
Yeah.
Like the whole Ewoks thing.
Ewoks are awesome, bro.
Are they really?
Come on. They're
no. How
they're
so?
like the Jawas of the forest, okay? They're these happy little go happy-go-lucky blah, blah, blah people of the forest. They're cute, little cuddly, but they'll scratch your eyes out. They worship a robot.
Also, don't they have like don't they have like poison-tipped arrows that like kill everybody or some shit like that?
Yeah, that too.
See, I heard about that. Someone was telling me that Ewoks are actually the most deadly thing on the planet because they like make this poison that could like kill almost anything. Oh, I just remembered this.
This is awesome.
Do you remember this movie?
Yes.
Welcome to movies. May I take your order?
Yeah, see. Give me one utterly delicious milkshake, skinny calf, and order of onion rings.
It's funny hearing another movie with the Lord of the Rings soundtrack behind it, isn't it?
It's kind of dope, though.
It is.
One ring to find them.
Oh, Jesus. One ring to bring them all.
And in the darkness bind them.
Yes! How many times?
Well, 3 for fellowship, 2 for towers, 4 for return.
5 for return.
Dude.
All right, look. There's only one return, okay? And it ain't of the king, it's of the Jedi.
Oh, Star Wars geek.
Oh, I'm the geek? Look at you two whipping out your preciouses.
You'll have to excuse him. He's not down with the trilogy.
Oh, what the fuck happened to this world? There's only one trilogy, you fucking morons.
You know what? Maybe we should start calling your friend Padme, because he loves Anakin Skywalker so much, right? Danger, danger. My name is Anakin. My shitty acting is ruining Saga.
Yeah, you're crazy, Jar Jar.
Oh, I'm crazy? Those fucking Hobbit movies were boring as hell. All it was a bunch of people walking. 3 movies of people walking to a fucking volcano.
We probably should have started with this clip.
Here's the first movie. And here's the second movie.
No way. Come on. This is like not fair.
He is way off, loser.
You ready for the third movie?
Bloop.
Fucking A.
Even the fucking trees walked in those movies.
You know what? I've had enough of you. Your simplistic analysis of the trilogy aside, The Lord of the Rings was a massive achievement that even the Academy recognized when they gave Peter Jackson the Best Directing Oscar, an award your little friend George Toy Boy Lucas has never and will never
It's so true.
win.
Oh, sick burn.
Let me tell you something. If Peter Jackson really wanted to blow me away with those Rings movies, he would have ended the third one on the logical closure point, not the 25 endings that followed.
Yes! The logical closure point.
Yeah, friend. Enlighten us.
When fucking Frito wakes up from his little coma or whatever, and the little hobbits are jumping up and down on his bed, and Sam leans in the doorway and gives him that very fucking gay look.
Not the rings, Randall. Say what you will about Jesus, but leave the rings out of this.
Kick your ass back to the Shire if you don't shut your fucking mouth.
That look was so gay, I thought Sam was going to tell the little hobbits
Dude,
to take a
it
walk
was pretty
so he
gay.
could saunter over
yeah.
to Frodo and suck his fucking cock. Now that would have been an Academy Award-worthy ending.
Hey, faggot. They're not gay. They're hobbits.
I apologize for that F word. Did you know this inspired 2 major pornographic films?
The movie for the clip or Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
Do you know which ones they are?
No.
Lord of the Cock Rings.
Okay.
And Brokeback Mountain Doom. I'm not kidding. Both those exist in our universe.
And meat was back on the menu, boys.
Oh, let's talk about some great fucking... Man, because we're ending up the trilogy, so we're not just talking about Return, but we're talking about all of them. Some fun facts. The best scenes that live rent-free in your brain of the series were accidental. I'll tell you the ones I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
Meat's back on the menu, boys,
Yeah.
was an improv line.
Yeah.
When in the first one in Fellowship, when Aragorn is fighting that orc, the main hunter orc that kills Boromir,
Oh, yeah.
he throws a knife, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Aragorn baseballs it, right? You remember that scene? He throws a knife and Aragorn like hits it out of the
yeah.
air. That was a oh shit moment because that knife was real spring steel, and he was supposed to throw it and hit the tree, and he threw it, and his armor and his costume, he fucked up and threw it at Aragorn.
Oh.
So Aragorn hitting it, Viggo Mortensen actually hitting it,
Yeah.
saved his fucking life.
That's fucking baller.
Yeah, so that scene, I always loved that scene.
Mhm.
I thought there was some realism to it. That happened.
Yeah.
One of the great scenes where Gandalf is in the Hobbit hole and he goes, "Hoo!" and he hits his head. That happened. Now, it wasn't only him that did that, though.
Yeah.
Like, apparently a lot of people hit their head in that house, but when he goes, "Hoo!" that was actually a
That
real
was
reaction.
just him, yeah.
And, of course, we have to talk about the great toe scene.
Which great toe scene?
My favorite scene in Two Towers, one of them is when Aragorn figures out, and I forgot why we didn't bring this up, that the hobbits are gone, right?
Mhm.
And he's looking and he's like tracking him or whatever. And then remember, he kicks a helmet and goes, "Ah!" When he kicks the helmet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he broke his toe in real life. Yeah. So, and then there's so many more like weird scenes, and also like the whole counting game.
Yeah.
Like that was an improv that they were like just like being funny. Like, what about if they started counting how many people they killed?
Yeah.
And it just became a thing. And there's my favorite fucking quote in this movie is when Legolas takes down the elephant and he goes, "That still only counts as one."
Yes. I always laugh at that line. That is fantastic.
Yeah, it's such a good fucking line. Because it's like, oh, come on, he got more experience than that.
Yeah.
Like, oh man. Also, do you think? Because I don't know, but I think there's a little crossover because that game Shadow of the Colossus came out a little bit, and that game was based off of what Legolas did in this, and I really think that game was based off this because you would have to shoot arrows in the creatures to climb up them.
I don't know if it's based off because there was like God of War had already come out and kind of had stuff like that.
Well, I didn't say I confirmed. I said I think because there was. I don't remember ever seeing that in cinema ever. And I know in video games people were saying that was like the most creative, dynamic gameplay that they've ever played. Like with Shadow Claw, like people fucking love that game. Like fans of that game fucking love it, especially the remake. I never was one into it. I tried to play it. It was just not for me. because it's like more of a Zelda-y game where I like kind of like more stat-based games.
Okay.
Because like a stat-based game is if I die, I can't beat this boss. Guess what? I can grind, listen to podcasts, and come back a couple of levels and kick its ass.
And try again. Yeah.
You know, or if it's like a Mega Man thing, you just got to study the level. Whereas one of these things is like a 3-dimensional fuck you kind of thing, right? You know, that's why I stopped playing Zelda games is when they became 3D. They're too hard for me. Like I like a over the top or 2D scroller.
Yeah.
Way more easy than when it's like there's a part, and I know Breath of the Wild is totally been out for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part in Breath of the Wild you have to actually turn your controller upside down in order to beat the level.
No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Why? Why is that a thing?
Because your movements are backwards and forwards. Because of like dungeon, it's like got magnets or something. So you turn your controller upside down, and then you could navigate it fine.
Weird.
Now, creative, yeah. Do I want it in my fucking video game when I just want to chill out? I'm too old for hard mode, man. Too old for hard mode. Unless it's got Diablo in the title. But yeah, so there you go. What are your favorite quotes from the series and movie? And please don't say "in my bow" because that is the gayest fucking quote. It's almost as gay as the look he gives. Not there's anything wrong with that. But.
I mean, there's like the one like Return of the King is like I am no man. You know, like that was pretty baller one. I don't know. Yeah, like the counting thing is always cool. Like half of what Gimli says is always just fucking hilarious.
Yeah, like when Gimli's like, "An elf can enter a cave full of dead shit. I can't. Damn it, I'll never hear the end of it." And he runs in anyway. That part was pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, Gimli is great. Now, I was thinking about this. I even wrote this down. So the only time we hear about the elves, and remember, I never read the books besides The Hobbit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I am not an expert when it comes to LOTR lore, except for what people tell me, who know a lot more than me. But the Mines of Moria is where his cousin Brimley, I think, is from. And right when we go there, we find out they're all dead. And by the way, the Mines of Moria is probably my favorite dungeon crawl out of the whole series. You know, not my favorite battle is Helm's Deep. My favorite dungeon crawl, Mines of Moria, and anyway, the Mines of Moria scene, right? Is Gimli the last of dwarves? Because the dwarves don't answer to the call.
Right.
Is Gimli the last?
No, Gimli's not the last dwarf, but basically because of events between the last two, between Fellowship and Hobbit or whatever, like basically humans just started like treat them like crap. They're like, okay, flip them the bird. Like we're just gonna go do our own thing.
Got it.
And just like went way the fuck out there.
Yeah, because I mean I told you this. Tolkien was a super fucking racist, and he based the dwarves off Jews.
Right.
And wasn't really a fan. Anyway, dwarves are my favorite race, though, because, I mean, they drink the gold, they party, they're little, they'll punch you in the dick, they're fun, they have beards.
They're like steampunk,
rowdy. And all other, like, medium, they always invent cool stuff like airships and, and, you know, I don't know. Dwarves are just the coolest. They're just fun. Elves are like, you know, cool if you want to be a chick but still have a wiener. You know, because I mean that's at a certain point I want to drink beer and have a beard and not be pretty forever. That seems boring after a while. You know what I mean? Like elf is just like a day vampire, basically.
Basically, yeah.
But not as cool.
Not nearly as cool.
No. And unless you're like, you know, elf druids but turn into werewolves and shit, then that's pretty cool.
I mean, is that like a thing?
That's a thing.
Is that a thing? Okay.
That's totally a thing. You never play Pathfinder, do you?
No,
it's fun. Anyway, they turn to werewolves and shit. But they're not werewolves. They're not like I turn into the full moon. They're like, no, I turn into a big ass wolf when I get into a fucking fight, and then I turn back.
That kind of werewolf. Okay.
Yeah, that kind. But yeah, elves are kind of. I mean, and not only that, Legolas is not really the greatest. I mean, it's Orlando Bloom. He's kind of like an airhead, like beach bum guy. In real life, you know, he's obsessed with like extreme sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like. I remember when they were filming, one of the reasons why he said yes to all three movies, he goes, you mean I get to be out here all the time and like I can go surfing and do this and this? He goes, of course I'm going to fucking do it. And then they had to write into his clause, I think in the second one, because I think he broke something like a foot or skydive. He did something dumb.
Yeah.
Or wakeboarding or something. He broke something, and they're like, you got to knock it off. The insurance won't cover you.
Right.
And he's like, damn, know what I mean? You know? That's my old man. The blue used to say, it's like Jason Statham, but just higher pitch.
A lot more feminine.
Yeah, know what I mean? Like that. Yeah, it's fun out there, know what I mean? No, Jason Statham, same way. It was fun out there, you know what I mean? Death race. Death race. Yes, I was in a death race. I raced against death. Frodo, you have my bow. Know what I mean? So no, I was actually curious about that because they even say in the second one, he's talking to Eowyn, some people think dwarves just sprout from the ground.
Yeah.
And he goes, and people don't know about dwarf women. And then Aragorn goes, because of the beards. Which is another great line. I think that's actually in the book, though.
I think it is.
I think it is.
Yeah. Because that's been like a long time, like dwarf, like lore thing is like the women are also bearded. They're basically the same size and shape. It's just one has a wiener and one doesn't.
Well, that's a pretty good combative race then. If you're all built like fucking Brock Lesnar but 5'2", that's like how can you kill that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Think about that. That's like ants. Like they're small but they're jacked and they'll fuck you up, man. Like another reason. And then like elves are like, know what I mean? We're in the trees, and then dwarves are like, we'll cut down those trees and rape you, ha ha. With our beards, ha ha ha. Fucking assholes. Did you ever notice how much that Aragorn and Legolas, like Viggo Mortensen's pronunciation when he goes Mordor, like he rolls all of his R's
right.
and he goes Legolas, and he took the language so seriously because in the books there's actually the alphabet.
Right. No, he learned like Elfish
fluidly
and everything. Yeah.
And him and Alana Bloom would talk often in Elvish just to make sure that their Elvish was.
Oh.
How cool is that?
That's actually pretty sick.
So they would actually practice it to make sure that when they were on set or whatever, like, just kind of not only to make a camaraderie, but also to make it so, because a lot of people seem like, I'm not going to say they're mailing it in, but everyone who, like Viggo Mortensen speaks it. He's like Kamala Harris. He changes his dialect, like, depending on who he's talking to all the fucking time. Speaking of Kamala Harris, I had to write this down, dude. One of the endings, the ending when they go on the ship, I wrote Bilbo Biden because when he looks like Joe Biden. He's like, do you have that ring still? I'm old as fuck. And then all right.
I want some cookie dough ice cream.
I want some cookie. Yeah, but like he looks so old and he's like, where am I? And then when he's walking to the ship, it looks like he's got a full diaper. Like it's very, very hilarious. Oh man. So Sam gets with that chick, has 2 kids, and I guess gets the book, and then we have There and Back Again, plus we have Lord of the Rings, and the book's done, and blah, 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 and then we get our credits. And that finalizes the series. But
they left it open. He said there's room for more, and I was hoping to get the Salamacon or whatever it is.
The Salamacon?
The Salamacon. What was it?
Oh, the Necronomicon?
The sorority sister. What's going on?
Whoa, I don't know what's going on right now. You just blew my fucking mind. What? So, all right, Pippin, Merrion. Oh, I was going to ask you about this.
Yeah.
The whole Viking funeral scene where he's going to burn his son alive, Faramir, dude, that scene is beautifully shot where he's got his arms up and they do the pan.
Yeah.
And then even like his self-immolation and defenestration, meaning, dude, that's like my 2 worst fears in one. A, falling from a height, and then B, being on fire while doing it. And I was going to say, if you're afraid of heights, this movie is very triggering because you have,
they're like, it's like ground level, and then they pan the camera overhead.
Not only that,
and you're just like, whoa.
Everything. There's a scene where they're sleeping on the stairs to Mordor, and it's and they're like, a fart away from going, ah! Oh, did you know that the Wilhelm scream is used twice in this? It's the Wilhelm scream is used in every single Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It's used twice in this one.
Okay.
So it's used once during the that only counts as one.
Yeah.
It's used there, and then it's used. I have it written down here too. I have it here somewhere at least. Oh yeah, maybe don't. No, I swear it's used here twice.
The Oliphant, right?
Elephant is one of them. Oh yeah, the Nazgul grabs a soldier and throws him, and they use the Winell scream.
Yeah.
So the Winell scream is used in like almost every movie, but I know Peter Jackson on purpose used it like in every movie.
I mean, you kind of have to.
If I ever filmed a movie, I'd have to use it.
I would 100% use it.
Or I would just
in the most ridiculous way,
I go,
but I would still use it. Yeah.
No, it'd be like when I'm taking a dump, you know. Because you know, there'd be a scene where I take a dump and I go, ah. So yeah, anyway, that's I guess the trilogy. You know what I'm going to probably do is I'm going to put. Oh no, I can't because one of them's a watch along. I might do a supercut. Where I'll put like 2 and 3 together, but because we did a watch along for Fellowship, not really a review. It's not to say we can never come back and watch it though. You know,
right?
You know, so I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you a homework assignment. Okay. So next week is your week off.
Yeah.
And then I get custody of you the week after, correct?
Yeah.
Nosferatu.
Maybe?
You should do it. But you don't think you're going to see it?
I don't know if I'm going to see it.
You should see it.
It's been like 3 months since I've been in the movies. Like actual movie theater.
You should see it. You should
I know I need to see it. Yeah.
It's very good. I didn't love it. But as a film, like appreciating film, I really, really appreciated it. But my wife gave it an 80. I gave it a 78.
Wow.
But Willem Dafoe fucking kills it. He fucking kills it. You get to see Johnny Depp's daughter, who's a bit of all right. And you get to see her naked. But it's the biggest boner kill though because of the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got, you know what it is? It's got one of those endings of what the fuck did I just watch? I hate this. You know, but anyway, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
anyway,
we'll
homework
later.
assignment perhaps. If
All
not,
right.
we could do Enemy Mine. I don't know.
Ooh.
Or you could watch the Netflix Dracula special because I'm going to talk a lot about that because I'm going to do the Dracula special versus Nosferatu.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, you know, or you know, you could even, but I'd say definitely watch it while it's in theater because you
right. It's definitely gonna be that's gonna be the best experience for it.
Yeah, especially how dark that movie is. And when we went, dude, in Vallejo, I usually never go to Vallejo. When we went on New Year's Day, I thought it was gonna be totally empty. Me and my wife were gonna have to. Nope, fucking theater was packed.
Oh wow,
packed. Like this is like the movie to go see right now.
Right.
And it is a horror movie. It is super fucking noir and dark and everything else. It is worth a watch. But I think that should be our next movie. What do you think? And then I'll do Tucker and Dale versus Evil with Neo next week. And you have you say it's great. Ooh.
Oh.
My Gimli was rumbling.
Get me out of here.
Get me out of here. The elf can smell farts, not me. Oh, there's another great Gimli line. 0 chance of success, certain death. Okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
That's another great line. No, you're right. Like all of Gimli's like great.
He's the king of the one-liners.
You know what though? I do like in The Hobbit, I think like the main dwarf is way cooler though. In the Hobbit movie.
The main dwarf?
Yeah, the main dwarf hero guy.
There was like a whole troop of them.
No, but the main like fucking the tall one that like kills everything. He's the one that fights Smaug and shit.
Oh yeah, okay.
He was pretty cool.
He's got the height advantage, that bastard.
Yeah, bastard. All right, so yeah. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Remember, you can email us at knifepartypod@yahoo. Be sure to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/knifepartypod. Please like, share, and all that good stuff. You know, if people comment, we're actually more likely to get advertisements. Now, I know people don't like ads, but the greatest thing about my ads is if I ever get ads, I will read them.
Yeah.
Because there's an option of what they call a live read, and they're a lot of fun. All right, cool. Well, I guess we're going to get out of here. Anything to plug or anything you want to say before we get out of here besides, be kind, rewind, be ethical to each other, and if you can't afford to tip, don't taste?
Ooh, good one. No, yeah, that sums it up for me. All right.
All right, man. Great to have you back in, dude.
Yeah,
we missed
great
you here.
to be here, man.
All right, let's end on this Enya shit.
Oh.
Is this Enya? No, it's not.
I mean, no.
You know, Enya lives in a castle and has a lot of cats, and she's single. I'm just saying.
She's saying I got a chance.
I'm saying you have a chance, dude. She probably is into giant dwarves. All right, everybody, we love you.
Into the world of night, through shadows falling, out of memory and time. Don't say we have come now to the end. White shores are calling. You and I